Hi guys, it's Rashonda. I'm the creator of artbyro.com and this channel. Which, by the way, if you enjoy these videos, don't forget to subscribe so you can get notified of any future videos. And if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button. That helps us grow and it helps the channel to succeed. So today we are going to be drawing robots using some basic shapes. And then we're going to be coloring them with markers. And in this video, you're going to see what happens when you use cheap off-brand markers. So I decided to keep the video, try to save the drawing the best I could and show you what that looks like. And also to let you know, it's okay, mistakes happen. We just got to roll with it. So lesson learned about the cheap markers, and nothing was lost. Everything worked out good. Today's video is going to be done on artist trading cards, and there is a link in the description box to a free PDF file if you want to learn more about using artist trading cards, or ATCs as they're also known as. So let's go ahead and go on over to the art studio and let's do some drawing. So let's look at how to draw a robot by building it out with just some basic shapes. So our basic shapes are rectangles, squares, circles, triangles. And remember that shapes are two-dimensional. So when drawing your robots, you're going to want them to be mostly symmetrical. So we can draw a line of symmetry right down the center of the paper. And if you wanted to, you could also divide it in half this way, just to give you an idea of that's where the center point is. And this can help you to get some idea of where everything needs to go on your paper. I like starting with the body piece for his chest. And you can do that with a square, a rectangle, you could do a circle. But building out these robots, you can do them just by putting any kind of basic shapes together and then going from there to add in your details. So this is going to be the body. The head, we want a little bit of space. I'm going to do another rectangular shape, and I want a space between there for the neck, and I want the head to be smaller than the body. Now this is just how I'm designing my robot. You could do yours completely different. You could have the head bigger than the body. I'm doing mine on an artist trading card. And one of the things I really love about the artist trading cards is that it gives you a lot of opportunity to experiment and try new things. So now I want to put the legs down here. These are going to be my center points for my legs. And then I want to do lines on either side of those. And I'm just doing long rectangles right now, but I might break those up a little bit, add some different details in here. I can do circle shapes for the feet. And then for the neck, again, I'm going to use this line of symmetry to get it fairly close to even. And then I might put some little oval shapes down here for the neck. You might put a couple rectangles off to the side that look like ears, or maybe these are lit up. Maybe these are glowing. Gonna add some eyes. The mouth, I like just making just kind of like a rectangular, sort of like a slit for the mouth. And then for this chest piece, You can do whatever you want. You could make it look like a screen. You could put, sometimes I put a heart in there. You could make it look like some kind of an instrument panel. Maybe make it look like an old school boombox might be kind of cool. Maybe it's a party robot, who knows. So for the arms, I'm going to put some little rectangles in here where the arms can connect to the body. And then I'm just going to have them coming straight down with some little circular shapes for the hands. Don't stress out too much if your drawing doesn't fit completely on your paper. These are things that I used to really be bothered by in the past, and I've kind of learned to not worry about it. I would rather my drawing take up this whole area here than to worry about every little piece of them fitting within the size of the paper. So in reality, it doesn't hurt anything if the hands go off the edge. I just put some little rings down here, little oval shapes, and curve them around. Got the shoes. You could probably put maybe some kind of a, like some circles here to show the joints in the elbows. So as you can see, we're just building this out with just some shapes. I'm going to put some triangles up here with circles at the top. And then we're not going to see this tip. So as you can see, we're just using basic shapes, nothing complicated. But when we're done with it, we have a pretty interesting drawing just by building it out with some basic shapes. And then all these guidelines will disappear after we outline it and clean it up. So I got my outlining pen. I like using these black Sharpies. You can use whatever you want. And I'm just going to go right over top of all of the lines that I'm keeping. So if you're worried that you might go over the wrong lines, like I have these lines of symmetry in here, you can erase those if you're worried about accidentally going over top of something you don't want to keep. Or you can leave them there, do your outline, and then go in and erase them. That's what I do. I leave all those extra lines in there. And then I go over everything with my outlining pen, and then I take a big eraser and clean everything up. When you're doing your outlining, you can add some variation in your line weight by maybe going back over top of them on the bottom where there might be shadows. You could go in and add some hatching or cross hatching for some shadows. It just depends on the look that you're going for and how you like to work and what your style is. Everybody has their own personal style, and that just means you do the things that you think look good, which doesn't necessarily mean everybody likes that, but that's what makes it your style Your artistic style is a combination of all the different things that you like and that you think look good. So that's what makes it your personal style, because everybody's not going to agree with you about what looks good. Like, I'm going in here and adding some shading underneath there. You might look at that and absolutely hate it. So if that's the case, then that's not something you would do. Maybe you like something different. Maybe you don't like the black outline. I personally like the black outline. So, of course, when I do my drawings, I'm going to add a black outline. If you're somebody who thinks the black outline looks terrible in drawings, then you're probably not going to do that. You might do something different. Maybe you don't like outlining at all. These are all just personal preferences that, when you combine everything together, is what creates your own artistic style. So I'm just showing you one way of doing something. And then the idea is that you will work on these things on your own and experiment, try new things, and develop your own style. And just use the tutorials as a starting off point, and then just seeing where it takes you and what you end up with. And that's also why I like doing these artist trading cards, because they save a lot of time. And I like doing a series of drawings. So typically, if I'm working on robots for the week, I'm not going to draw one robot and then call it done. I'm going to try to push myself to do a series of 7. I like doing 7 drawings. And the reason I like doing 7 is because I don't feel my creativity really start to take off until about the 3rd or 4th drawing. At about 3 or 4 drawings, I start feeling a lot more creative. So I like doing a series of them so that I can feel that transition in my creativity. So doing the artist trading cards makes it really easy because they save so much time. So now we need to add some color. I'm gonna cut off for a second here, grab me some markers, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got my markers. I decided I'm going to try doing a purple robot, which is not something I would normally do. I think purple's kind of a weird color for a robot, but I figured, hey, why not? Try it out and see what it looks like. I usually think of robots as being usually like red or grays. I don't know why. That's what I think of when I think of robots. Purple is not a color that I would normally think of for a robot. These markers that I'm using are just I think they were purchased at maybe like a craft store or something. They're not the best markers. They don't have the best range of color. I don't like how those are blending. I don't like how they're blending, and they're bleeding outside the line, which doesn't, oops, dropping markers, which that doesn't thrill me. So you really have to experiment with the markers that you're using and figure out what you like and what you don't like. So for example, these markers bled a little bit outside of the outline, which isn't a huge deal. I can just go back in and darken up the outline. It's not gonna, that won't ruin the drawing. So these markers must have more of the alcohol in them. They must have a higher concentration of alcohol. But you don't know how the markers actually work unless you try them out. So these are ones that I haven't really used a whole lot, mostly because they're too limited with the colors that are available. Like these purples, there's only 2 purple in there. And there's too much of a difference between them, so they don't blend real well together. So I'm just going in, I grabbed another marker out of my collection. I have tons of markers. So we're just gonna improvise, do the best we can. As long as you don't go over, back and forth over the colors too much with those ones, they seem to be okay. It looks like I just have to be careful that I don't oversaturate the colors. I don't think I'm real crazy about how these colors work together. But it is what it is. Who knows, maybe I might come up with some kind of cool effect from it. It's kind of like a tie-dye looking vibe going on, which isn't bad. That doesn't really bother me. It's kind of an interesting effect going on. So one of the things that I've really been working on over the last few years is not getting discouraged by how things turn out and if they don't turn out exactly the way I want them to. And the reason that I'm working on that is because I want to feel like my art time is as relaxing as it can possibly be. And if I'm worrying about things that don't go exactly right, I am not going to be relaxed. I'm going to feel tension. I'm going to feel kind of uptight about things. And that's not my goal for my artwork. My goal, my sole purpose for creating my artwork is to feel a sense of relaxation and enjoyment. And I can't feel those things if I'm constantly worried about, well, this didn't work out the way I wanted to. That don't look the right way. And I used to be like that. I used to really, like the past me would have tossed this out and started over and said, yeah, no, this didn't turn out the way I wanted it to do. It's garbage. We're going to junk it. This is no good. We can't have this. This isn't perfect. And really all that did for me when that was my approach to my artwork is that I ended up getting discouraged and then I didn't work on something. So if I would have felt like this was ruined because I didn't like how these markers are working, if I would have felt like everything was ruined and okay, I'm going to pitch this one, I'm scrapping it, we're not even going to finish it, chances are what would have happened was I would have abandoned this drawing. I wouldn't have finished it. And then there's a good chance that I wouldn't have started over. I probably would have felt discouraged and thought, you know what, I'll try again. I need to take a little break. I'm stressed out. This bothers me. I'll come back to it later. And then we all know what happens. Later never comes. Because how motivated are you going to feel if you say, okay, I already did this once. So first of all, you're trying to recreate the same idea that you had to begin with that didn't work out. And that's not a whole lot of fun doing the same thing twice. Like, I don't know, who really wants to repeat the exact same drawing because the first one, something got messed up on it. So in all likelihood, the project would be abandoned and that would be the end of it. And it would never get worked on again. But if something doesn't turn out exactly the way that you want it, like I don't know how much this is picking up on the camera, but he looks like he's got like some kind of a beard or something going on there. But as I'm working, I'm thinking about what are my options to fix that so that I don't have to abandon this and just say, oh, that got ruined. That's no good. And that particular problem, I don't feel like is a huge deal because I'll just go over it with my black. I could always add on a heavier outline if I wanted to. But I think it's important to just keep pushing forward because my goal is to just enjoy creating my artwork. And for me to do that, I have to focus on the process and not on the outcome. If I'm always focused on the outcome and I have really high expectations for how everything's going to turn out, to me, that just creates stress. That doesn't create a relaxing environment for me at all. If I'm always worried about everything has to be perfect, I don't want anything to go wrong, to me, that's stress. That's not relaxing. And the reason I create art is because I enjoy it and it relaxes me. But if I start creating an environment for my artwork in my creative time that is stressful, first of all, I'm probably not going to do it because who wants to create stress for themselves? But also, if I do participate in some creative endeavors, I'm not really going to enjoy it if I'm stressed out about it all the time. So the idea for me, and I think for most people who are hobby artists anyway, the idea is to create a stress-free and relaxing environment. And the way we do that is just by focusing on the process itself and not on the outcome. So one of the reasons that I like using this outlining pen, even when I do a heavier line weight, I prefer this pen because, for one thing, it doesn't bleed into the paper, where a lot of the markers, if you're using it for your outlines, it doesn't make as sharp of an outline because it tends to bleed into the paper a little bit. The markers bleed a little bit, not as bad as like what that did. That just got oversaturated. But these will make a nice crisp edge, and I don't mind going back over it and reworking the line weights with this thinner pen because I find this very relaxing. I don't know why, I don't know what it is about doing this, but it's very therapeutic to me to just go back over and make a thicker outline using the smaller pen. There's just something about it. I don't know what it is. And oftentimes I think, this is silly. I'm wasting a lot of time. This is taking me a lot longer than what it needs to. But at the same time, I'm not trying to rush through everything. And to me, what I'm doing right here, going in and adding a darker outline, I find very relaxing. So I try not to stress out about it too much. So I got the darker outline in. I think it looks okay. If I had to do it all over, I don't think I would use those colors. I learned a lesson about the markers. And these, like I said, these markers are ones that were given to me as a gift. And I want to try using them because, number one, I wanted to give them a chance. And I don't know where she bought them at. I want to say she probably bought them at like Hobby Lobby or something. But these markers and these ones, which are more of an artist grade, and these are more of like a kid's marker or a craft grade marker, these don't do like how that did. And like this one, as you go over top of it, it really oversaturates the paper and then it bleeds a lot more. These markers do not oversaturate the paper. So this was actually a very good learning experience for me because I'm not doing illustration work, so I don't care a whole lot about, like, I don't get Copic markers because I think they're too expensive. And I have a couple. I bought a couple just to try them out and see, like, what's the big deal with them. And for me and the type of art that I'm working on, I don't see where the price is justified for me personally. But I'm not doing illustration work. I'm doing just, stuff for my own personal interest, just for relaxation, just because it's something I enjoy. So I can't really justify the extra expense. But you also have to know what your limitations are as far as going inexpensive in trying to figure out what type of markers you like, what markers you don't like. So I'm just breaking up some of the chunks of color with this white jelly roll. And the way I work is it's fairly arbitrary. I'm just putting some random white highlights in here just to break the color up. So now I can do something with the background. You could put a scene in here. You could draw like some kind of, maybe like an industrial, I don't know, you could do like a little junk heap. You could do something, I don't know. I don't know what else you could do in the background. I'm not the best at backgrounds. There's something I've struggled with quite a bit. I should probably go through my binder that I have from other artists and see what other people have done for backgrounds, because I'll get some cards that people have made and their backgrounds are interesting but still kind of simple. So I really should go go through some of my cards that I've gotten from people and steal some ideas for different backgrounds to make. You can get these colorless blenders. They usually come with the sets. And what you can use them for is to kind of blend out these colors and soften them up a little bit. Again, these markers tend to oversaturate, so they don't work the best. It's actually removing the marker, and it's making it kind of blotchy looking. Which, if you use like these markers, they won't do that. It'll lighten it. So I'm gonna go with it because this isn't what I would normally try to achieve, which right now is kind of a good thing because I need to play around with some different textures and whatnot for the background. So we're gonna go with it, and we're gonna make it a kind of blotchy look to it, which actually doesn't really bother me. So there we go. There's our robot that we build out with just using some basic shapes. And you can try different things. You could do circles for the head, circle for the body. Experiment with some different shapes, try it out, and see what you can come up with. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video and you want to see more. And if you don't mind, leave a comment. Let me know that you watched the video to the end. And also, I'd like to know a little bit about you and where you're at in your art journey. So leave me a comment and let me know. You can share what you like, where you're at, things you're struggling with, the types of videos you want to see. So leave me a comment, let me know you are here and that you watched this video. And I will talk to you soon. Bye!